Hi everybody, welcome back. I hope that you had a great week. Looking forward to a great discussion this week for our life groups in week 4. If you weren't able to join us this past weekend, Pastor Tom was in part 4 of All Day, Every Day, the series about finding rhythm and routine in a habit of faith. He's walking us through the book of James, which, as we've discussed before, was written by the half-brother of Jesus to Jewish believers who weren't quite getting it fully and practicing their faith on a daily basis. And so that's what this series is all about. Looking forward to a great discussion tonight. Just a quick reminder before we jump into today's discussion, make sure that your sharing is appropriate for the group and that you're mindful of others' feelings as you're sharing. So let's jump into today's discussion. This weekend in part 4 of All Day, Every Day, Pastor Tom continued in the book of James and talking about how actions and faith are very much linked and how it's very important as Christians for us to have faith, but also to act in faith. Check out this quick video clip on some people acting in faith.
Ready? Go.
Trust fall.
Set, go.
And go.
I hope you enjoyed that video. The good old trust fall, used a lot in corporate settings or in church youth groups, but even though it's funny and entertaining to watch, how true is that if we really apply that principle to our spiritual walk? How often are we the one with the blindfold on, trusting and needing to trust God that He's going to come through on His faith promises to us, and we end up thinking, man, if I just let go, I'm going to fall down and hit the ground. So Pastor Tom in his message this weekend kind of started off that way, talking about our faith and our actions and trust. Go ahead and check out this clip from Pastor Tom.
James starts off in verse 14, says, "What good is it, dear brothers and sisters, if you say that you have faith, but don't show it by your actions? Can that kind of faith save anyone? Suppose you see a brother or sister who has no food or clothing, and you say, 'Goodbye and have a good day, stay warm and eat well.' But then you don't give that person any food or clothing. What good does that do?"
So for our first discussion question tonight, let's start with this. It could be easy for us to allow God to challenge our faith in some small areas or some little things. But what are some areas in your personal life that require a big step of faith? And why do you have difficulty letting go of those areas? Go ahead, pause the video right there. I'll talk to you in a minute. Go ahead and check out this clip from Pastor Tom.
But here's where I'm going with this. Imagine taking the time to exercise. Imagine taking the time to eat healthy. Every day, you're just making, but then all of a sudden, the results are not what you were expecting. You're not getting results because guess what? You're cheating on your diet. You're cheating on your exercise. James is challenging our faith in a similar fashion. If your faith is not producing any results and then you're doing something wrong. You're cheating on your faith. Because real faith produces results. All day, every day. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you put your faith into action, you're going to see results. If you're not getting results, guess what? Most likely you're starting to cheat on your faith.
So that's a pretty cool clip because a lot of times in our life, we are doing one thing, one activity, one discipline, one action, and expecting a result, something that kind of comes along on the back end and validates the decision that we made and the work that we put in. But Pastor Tom is saying the same thing really applies to our faith if we have what he calls results-based faith. What kind of results should we be looking for in our life as it pertains to faith? Go ahead and pause the video right there. I'll see you in a minute. Hopefully you had some cool discussion there on what a results-based faith looks like and what type of results you might be looking for as you practice your faith on a daily basis. So moving on through the message, Pastor Tom explains that actions complete our faith. So having faith and understanding faith is the first part, but it's the action that completes it and brings it all full circle. So here's another little clip from Pastor Tom's message this weekend regarding faith and actions.
Faith will always cost something, but the rewards of it can be life-changing. Abraham's faith was great, and he believed that God could even raise his son Isaac from the dead if necessary. And if you read the account of Abraham's faith in Genesis chapter 22, you'll discover that God spares his life by giving a sacrifice of a ram that's caught in a thicket of bushes, and that ram became the sacrifice. And Abraham named the place in verse 14 of Genesis 22, he named the place Yahweh Yireh, which means the Lord will provide. You see, when you step out in faith, the Lord's going to provide for you. Instead of being on your own merits, instead of trying to do it through your own good works, guess what? Step out in faith and watch what will take place. God will be a provider for you. Abraham was counted as righteous because he acted upon his faith. What doors can your faith open if you're willing to act?
So this is where it gets kind of cool, or we start seeing faith, action, and now a new word, love, being thrown into the mix. And Pastor Tom says, just as Abraham was willing to act upon his faith because of his love for God, God acted upon his faith because of his love for us. So that's kind of a cool thought. So my question for you right now is, what doors can your faith open if you're willing to act upon your faith? Go ahead and pause the video right there. I'll see you in a few minutes. So I hope that today's discussion encouraged you and challenged you a little bit to find ways to put your faith into action and to actually see yourself as that person with the blindfold in the trust fall scenario and say, God, I am here, I'm willing, I believe what you're saying, I have faith in you, and then actually take that next step, that leap of faith where you let go and you abandon your fear and you trust God with everything that you have because He ultimately loves you. He loves you more than anything. So if you did want to catch up on this past weekend's message, you can listen to it on the podcast. You can watch it online at southcoastchristian.com on the vodcast. So from all of us here at South Coast, our group leaders and our staff, we love you. We're praying for you. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.